I now invite Rich Roy to come forward to light the chalice and lead us in our affirmation of covenant, which is in your order of service.
I light this chalice with these words. Open our eyes to see what is beautiful. Open our minds to learn what is true. Open our hearts to love one another. Now please join me, if you will, in the affirmation of covenant. You'll find printed in your order of service saying, love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Now, Stephanie Judkins is joining us with her dog or two. She is our Director of Religious Education.
She's just making herself comfortable with everyone, so make sure you notice her because she won't let you not. So, hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my real, mostly full-time hustle is that I'm an actual farmer. So I thought we'd take a second to just sort of talk about what that means to our animal community. I know that there are a lot of vegans and vegetarians in our crew, and I wish that we all could be. I truly do. If that were the case, I would never have to go through the pain of taking an animal to process. I knew that today was the animal service. When I left here last Sunday, I had a date to take pigs in that next Monday morning. So Sunday last was not a day where I had my head in the game here. I was really just concentrating on how to safely and kindly and ethically get pigs into a trailer knowing that was going to be the last moment they would engage with this world. I've been doing it for just about 4 years now. And I said when I started that if it ever became easy to take an animal to process, then I would never take another animal in. Typically, the way that I do it, I set the trailer out so for a couple of weeks the pigs can get in it and be comfortable and get out and still explore, so they're never afraid of it. But time got away from me this time. So Sunday, I got home and I moved the trailer in, and I took about 4 hours to separate calmly who was coming over to this side. I had to build a new fence. And in that 4 hours of time, I'm just within myself thinking, I get to choose who dies tomorrow. And that's the truth of it. Every time I take an animal in, it's because I choose that's the day that's your last. That's a horrible responsibility and painful. So I was in a pretty uncomfortable state, to be honest, with just that whole process. But because I'm buddies with my animals and because I'm there the moment every animal is born on the farm, engaging with them, making the mother comfortable so that everyone feels safe and cared for, those pigs just followed me without a second thought. Without a second thought. In the evening, when I put them in the trailer, I put food in and I closed the door behind them because I was a little afraid that when I had to get up at 5 in the morning that I wouldn't be able to wrangle them over. And it would be so much more stressful. But I didn't sleep at all that night because I knew they would never see the grass again. And they're never gonna dig in the dirt, and that that's the last of the joy of this life they will have. And I have a promise that I give them is that they will only have one bad day. if there's nothing else I can do for them, it's that they'll have one bad day. So I got them into the trailer, and I didn't sleep all that night because I knew they were in there and afraid, and this was uncomfortable. But they settled down, and it was all right. I had the truck already hooked up to the trailer, so when I drove out at 6 in the morning, they hadn't had any air or anything outside of what just flowed through the trailer. Typically when I go to the processor, because they're so well trained, when they open the gate, the pigs are like, well, hello, how are you? And the guys at this processing facility are so kind. They are genuinely concerned with the welfare of these animals. But because time got away from me, when I opened the doors, the pigs were huddled at the back and terrified to come out. So for the first time in my time of raising animals, I had to get into the trailer with them and push them out. And there was one little guy, I didn't name him because I've almost learned my lesson. Sometimes they end up with names, and that's just okay. I'd like to say a moment for Polka, who was my favorite little male pig, and I had to process him, and Skinny, who was my first little runt piglet, who I literally carried around with me for weeks. But I had to process him because that's the job. That's the cycle. That's the process. So I got into the back of the trailer, and I had to shove them out, and they were terrified. And there was one little guy who I almost didn't take because he was a little small. But when he was born, the mama stepped on him, and she broke his back, and she broke his leg, and I nursed him back to health. But I knew from that moment on he was going to have to go first, because if he grew more, it was going to cause a lot more pain for him. But when he looked at me, knowing I was shoving him out of there, oh, y'all, I cried. I didn't cry in front of everyone there, but when I got back in the truck, I was gone. I lost it. And it took about 3 days for me to kind of feel like a whole person again. And so I questioned again, what are you doing? Why are you doing this to yourself? And then I remembered, we get most of our meat from factory farms, which means these animals never see the light of day. They're raised on concrete slabs. When a female pig farrows, that's what you call them when they have babies, they are put in a chute so they can't roll over, so they are kept vertical in a squeeze box, so they have to give birth to up to 18 babies on a concrete slab in a metal container. And that's why I do what I do, because at least if they're going to die because we want a bacon sandwich, the days to that point are at least outside, eating bugs, digging grass, getting belly rubs. And if my heart has to break every time I take them in so that the life they have until that moment is good and blessed and loving and gentle, then so be it. Break my heart 1,000 times. So as we do our animal ceremony today, keep that in mind. Many of you are going to go out and eat after this. And when you order your steak or your cheeseburger or your chicken nuggets, remind yourselves, that's a living thing. That was a whole animal. And you have choices. We can continue to support systems that are dangerous and disgusting and cruel. Or you can support local farmers. And I'm not talking about myself. Would I like your support? Absolutely. But there are so many small farmers that if you just say, hey, will you please support them? Of probably 8 friends I had who were raising livestock, maybe 3 are still doing it at this point because it is not cost effective. They're not making money. And you might go to a farmer's market and think you're paying a ridiculous price for that meat. That's barely a fair price for that meat. You're paying for maybe the feed. It it takes to get in that animal, you're not paying that farmer. But I don't know that any farmers are really doing it because of that, because they wouldn't do it if they were, because there's no money. So support the systems. That's all I have to say. Be mindful. Vote with your dollar. If you really are compassionate, caring people, please keep the food that you eat in mind. Thank you. Also, look at this dog. This is ridiculous. They are so happy right now.
So now comes a homily. I call it a homily because it's short. Homily is a short sermon. And it needs to be short. Needs to be short because it will take a minute to bless all these critters. So here we go. In his new autobiography, Reaching 90, historian and activist Martin Duberman describes how he and his partner, Eli Zal, got a puppy after he retired at the age of 65 as director of the City University of New York's Center for Lesbian and Gay Studies. He writes, having grown up with dogs and adoring them, I'd long missed having one. And Eli and I decided this was the ideal time. We located a reliable kennel in Sag Harbor, chose one of the 7-week-old yellow labs, puppies. We named her Emma after Emma Goldman, and headed back home. True to her namesake, she produced instant upheaval, throwing up all over the car. Unable to take her outside until she was immunized and unwilling to put her in a crate at night, the nonstop assault on our cozy routines had us running in circles. As she barked us awake every morning at 5 o'clock, I wondered how, under the guise of introducing more comfort to my life, I'd unerringly introduced more turmoil instead. Half of the apartment was barricaded, the other half in chaos. I, who was wedded to routine and isolation, decided that it had been madness at the age of 66 to be doing the equivalent of diapers and feedings. Before long, of course, the periods of calm and cuddling lengthened, and within weeks, we'd become utterly smitten. There was something humbling and centering about having an animal around. No feigned emotions, no claims but the present, no strategic withholdings, indirections, apologies, and a whole new understanding that the tone, not the words, is what finally matters. Animals do learn to recognize some of our words. In my home, these include breakfast. Let's go get it. Let's go. That's Goldie's cue to jump down out of my lap. Let's go, let's go. Sometimes to get them out from underfoot. Kom slappies. That's Afrikaans for let's go to bed. We picked that one up from my friend Constance, who says that to her cats when she's done watching TV in the evening. And, of course, they learn their names and nicknames. Jenny is also known as Kitty Cat. Goldie is known as Kitten. They each have their own unique nickname. My experience with Jenny and Goldie has shown me that the animal's contribution to setting the tone is there. They do make a contribution. Jenny, as a kitten, did not like to be picked up or held. She would bite and scratch if I tried. And she was by no means a lap cat. For many years, her version of showing affection was sit across the room from me and make squinty eyes. You know how they do. It was therefore a very special moment when one day I woke up from a nap on the couch to find her dozing right next to my head. It was very early in our relationship. She was just a little kitten still. And that was the moment when she won my heart. She had showed me that it wasn't that she rejected my affection, rather it was she needed to be in charge of herself. She developed a routine after a while when she was no longer a kitten of coming to wake me in the morning to get her breakfast. She would literally lead me into the kitchen. Since we moved here, she spends most of her time on my bed, so now I'm the one who initiates movement towards the kitchen in the morning, but she quickly moves to her accustomed place as the leader. I long ago began referring to her as my supervisor. Goldie's temperament is quite different. She's been a lap cat from little on. She's more vocal than Jenny, makes a greater variety of sounds. She often initiates conversations apart from it's time for breakfast or it's time to clean the litter box. When I come back from a trip, I always have the impression that she is telling me everything that happened while I was gone. Her new behavior since moving to Little Rock is to ask to jump up in my lap when I'm at the kitchen table where I often read or write. And then she scampers up onto my right shoulder so that she can see out the window. Sometimes I can even continue what I was doing. Both cats usually come to bed with me now, as shown in the photo that I brought over there. In New Orleans, Goldie came to bed, but Jenny would sleep in the living room. And when we first moved here, I put her little basket bed in my bedroom, and that seems to have given her permission to join us. Now she has claimed my bed. She sometimes hisses at Goldie when she jumps up to join her there. And I sometimes need to nudge her or move her to get into bed myself. If Jenny has mellowed with age, and I think she has, it's because I caught on to her preferences and style of relating. Goldie has always been easy to love. Jenny has been more work. And what I mean is, not that I ever loved either of them less, but that I had to work a little harder to show Jenny affection in the ways she wanted it. I had to learn how to do that. And indeed, it is finally the tone that matters more than the words, and it is learning what feels like love to them that lets each express more than words can say. And now Sue and I are going to come around and meet and let you introduce your critters and give the, I'll give them a blessing, and Sue has a treat if they want it, and if you want them to have it, let us know. Here's a critter.
So we have Daisy. She's the white dog. She's a Pyrenees, probably mixed with Lab or something. And then we have Elsie, who is a Border Collie Aussie mix.
Daisy, may you continue to be blessed by love and to be surrounded by your loving and caring family. And Elsie, I'll pretend I'm touching your head. Okay. May you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your loving and caring family. And, oops, that was my foot. I'm sorry. Even got a blessing from Chaplain Sue here, so that's great. Here's Critter.
Hey, so this is Queenie. We adopted her a couple of years ago from the Humane Society. Sky added Weenie to the end of her name, so she's Queenie Weenie. She is, we think, part Dachshund for sure, and probably part Maltese.
For purposes of blessing, do you prefer Queenie or Queenie Weenie?
Let's do Queenie Weenie.
Queenie Weenie, okay. Queenie Weenie, may you continue to be blessed by love and to be surrounded by your caring and loving family.
This is Bella. She's a Pekingese. She was rehomed to us in 2018 from a former coworker of mine.
Bella, May you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your loving and caring family. Here's a critter. That's Rocky.
You going to turn around so you can see your face? Okay. Okay. Now, this is Rocky.
Smile for the camera, Rocky.
He's rehomed about 3 years ago with us now. He was in a situation where he wasn't socialized at all, didn't go for walks, didn't play with anybody, and so he was awfully skittish at first, but he's coming right along.
Bye, Rocky.
Rocky, come here. There we go.
May you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your loving and caring family. And may you continue to learn how to get along with people, because you've been learning your life with this family, haven't you?
Hi, this is Oots, and Oots is a Lagotto Romagnolo, which translates to Italian water dog. He's about 8 years old. He's named after a book called Oots by Bruce Chatwin. It's a book about a guy who collected mice and porcelain, and he was obsessed with collecting it, and so it's sort of a study in obsession. My husband and I both liked the book, so we named the dog after the book.
Boots, may you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your loving and caring family. Well, there's some in the back here.
This is Duplo. Say hi. And Chaplain Sue. Chaplain jumped out of my truck when she was 6 months old and broke her leg so bad that we just decided 3 legs is fine, and she's still fast as a bullet. So, and Duplo was born on the farm. I had his parents, who since passed, but there were 10 puppies, and every puppy is now on a farm. So.
Okay. So Duplo, may you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your caring and loving family. And Chaplain Sue, may you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your caring and loving family. And your caring and loving siblings here. Look at these siblings.
My name is Sarah, and this is Sophie. She thinks she's a parrot sometimes and likes to climb on my shoulder. I was really heartbroken after my Chiweenie had passed from lung cancer, and I found this baby online from this girl in Dallas, and she looked like exactly like my last one.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Shuey. This is Dagny Taggart. She's a red dapple mini dachshund, and we got her in Florida, where we moved here from, and she just lights up my life.
So Sophie, may you be blessed, continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your caring and loving family. Dagny Taggart, may you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your caring and loving family. Oh, somebody didn't see. Hello. Hello.
This is Gemma. Her southern name is Gemma June. Not really, I just called her that the first time that she was running away from me. And Luca, and they're Cavalier King Charles. And they're the first little dogs that we've ever had, because we're getting old and the big dogs are dragging us around. And I do have a special request. If you could bless the ball chasing out of Luca, I would really appreciate that. Because that's his big obsession, is tennis balls.
Luca, may you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your caring and loving family, and may you find balance in your life around tennis balls, okay?
Thank you, Rev.
And Gemma, may you continue to be surrounded by love, or blessed by love, and surrounded by your caring and loving family.
I'm Amber, and this is Frankie, and we got her by way of the animal shelter, and it was very clear that someone had abused her. And it has been one of my greatest honors to walk with her through the journey of learning to trust again.
Say again.
Frankie.
Frankie. Hi, Frankie. Yes. May you continue to be blessed by love and surrounded by your caring and loving family.
Closing words and extinguishing the chalice. Rich Roy, please.
Thank you, Sue. Please join me in the closing words to be followed by benediction by Rev Paul. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.
Tone beyond words between you and all beings. I'm going to save it.